All right, so Germs Alive, number 1, is you need to wash your hands and sing the Germ Song. So Connor's going to wash his hands while I sing the Germ Song. No dirty paws for me, no dirty paws for me. A Wolf Scout is clean, no dirty paws for me. Clean paws keep me strong, clean paws keep me strong. A Wolf Scout is smart, clean paws keep me strong. Alright, so the next activity is Germ Magnet. Alright, so we've been talking about germs. Germs you cannot see. They're very microscopic. You need a microscope to see them. And a lot of people are like, oh, I've washed my hands. Well, maybe you haven't washed them for the whole 20 or 30 seconds. Alright, so we're going to show you how much it stays. So I have glitter. Alright. We're going to put a little bit on Connor's hands, and he's going to rub them together. Over the sink, please. Alright, is it everywhere? So you may need to get it close up there, cameraman. Can you see the glitter? Alright, so Connor, rub them together. Alright, do we still have them? Alright, so use a paper towel. Does that get them off?
Yes, it did.
Well, show them again. Nope. Alright, so wash your hands. Remember, 20 seconds. Alright, let's see how well I did.
It's a little soapy.
Alright, so Germs Alive, one of the activities is you have to make mold. Now, raise your hand if you've ever seen mold on bread. Okay? So, Connor, do you know what makes mold?
Germs.
And what else?
Bacteria.
Alright, and so if you notice, Connor's holding onto a piece of bread, so we're going to have Connor not smush the bread, but kind of rub the bread and pat the bread with his hands. I did not have him wash his hands before we did this. Alright, so put it in the bag. And we're going to add a little bit of water in. Connor, can you go add a tiny, here, take that, add a tiny bit from the water fountain. You can pause it. Alright, so Connor added a little bit of water to his bread, so it's going to be a little bit damp in there. So we're going to put it in a warm spot at our house, and each day you need to go back and get a picture of it, or write down what it looks like. Okay, so this activity is the sneeze demonstration. So Connor, what are you doing?
I'm cutting up confetti to show all the mucus droplets.
Alright, so he's cutting up confetti. We're going to stick it in this nice smiley face balloon that we had. I'm just going to hold it open and have him put it in. Some people use the funnel. We tried that. It just didn't work for us. So this is going to work just as well. And then he's going to pop the balloon, and wherever all the confetti goes, it's showing what happens when you sneeze and you don't cover your mouth or your nose, because the droplets go everywhere. All right, let's put them in. Bright orange should show up really well on this floor. Alright. Alright, so now we're gonna, what do I have to make sure I don't do when I'm blowing this up, Connor?
Do not inhale or else the paper can hit you with and that's the kind of
Makes a lot of cool sounds when you're blowing it up.
I think that's good.
Think it's good? Alright. So
So
let's stand up. Gently. Alright, so Miss Camera Girl, if you could kind of see how far away some of them went. A lot of them stayed on the table. Some of them came back at us. Some of them went over to you. So, okay. So you notice that this was for the sneeze demonstration. So if you don't cover your nose and mouth, the sneeze droplets and germs can go a farther distance than you think it is. Alright, the last activity for Germs Alive is that you need to make a chore chart and do your chores for at least 1 week. This is just one that I printed off the internet. You can make your own, and then you can make whatever chores. Make your bed, feed the cat or dog or fish or whatever animal you have, do your laundry, put your clothes away, talk to mom and dad, come up with the chores you have to do for a week, put it in the chart, and keep track of it. Keep track of it by checks, by stickers, by stamps, whatever. Once you are done doing it for the week, show your den leader. So this is the mucus demonstration. In your kit, you will actually get this slime time science. There are 6 or 7 different activities that you can do with the kit. The first one is just making sewer slime. So once we open it up, you have your directions, you have your cornstarch, measuring cup, glue, a teeny tiny and a slightly bigger tablespoons. This one doesn't say what it is, so I'm not sure which this one is. This one I think is the 1 teaspoon. Your liquid starch, your guar gum, your sodium tetraborate solution, and a filter. Alright, so the first activity is called sewer slime. So let's start with that classic movie slime. So classic that's pictured on the box for this kit. Right there. So we're looking at our slime recipe. So from the kit, we need our guar gum, the sodium tetraborate solution, the measuring cup, measuring spoons. From your house, you're going to need water, the closable bag, mixing bowl, or a plastic cup and something to stir with. So Connor, in this cup, measure out 7 tablespoons of water into that cup, please. We're using the tablespoon.
7.
All right, so he did 7 tablespoons of water into the cup. Measure out 1 teaspoon of guar gum. So be careful when you open it, because it's a powdery substance.
And the teaspoon line is
Teaspoon is the tiny one, I'm thinking. Right there. So what's that other little doohickey for? All right, well dry that out with your finger, because you don't want to put powder in a wet one. All right, I have it. Where am I going? There it is, I can see it.
Here's a tablespoon.
I hope all the rest of these don't need guar gum. Guessing not. Can't see it. There we go, I see it. Thank you.
Oh, got it?
Do I have it?
Yes. Yes.
I do? Not yet. Almost. That one side has it, the other side doesn't have it.
Yeah, now it has it. Well, now it has it. Good.
Alright, so it seems that the guar gum just has the 1 teaspoon, so you need the whole package. Alright, so add the guar gum to the water, only a little bit at a time. I guess that's what that's for. So add a little bit at a time to the water. Stir as you add it. Keep stirring for a minute after all the gum is in the water. So stir it. You gotta stir it. Put one in and then stir it. You can stir, you know. Stir. You get to stir. Dude, you gotta get it stirred before you add the next one, I think. Okay. You're getting it on your hands. Why don't you put that on the... Alright, so Connor's stirring. He got a little bit on his hand, but we're hoping it still works. So what's it looking like, Connor? Is it still liquid?
It's like gel.
Alright, keep stirring. Keep stirring for a minute after all the gum is in the water. So he's stirring. There's still a little bit of white chunks in there, but it's still also pretty solid. So he's still stirring for a minute. We just have a few more seconds left. Alright, so he says, so it's done. Alright, stop stirring. So now we're going to let this solution sit for 3 to 5 minutes. And then we need to add more stuff. Alright, so we let it sit for 4 minutes because it said between 3 and 5 minutes. In the process, Connor went and cleaned the the tablespoon measuring spoon. It needs to be clean. So now we need to measure out 1 teaspoon of the sodium tetraborate solution to the guar gum solution. And then we're going to stir for a minute and then do it again. All right? So be very careful because this is a liquid and I want 1 teaspoon. Hold that, please. So, yeah, the one that's on the bottom. You got it? All right, so stir it for 1 minute, and we're going to pause and be back in a minute. All right, so it's getting a little bit sticky, kind of looks like rubbery now. So the next part is measure out another teaspoon of the solution into the mixture. Mix well and let stand for 2 minutes, and then it will become disgusting sewer slime. So here's another teaspoon. Now the tetraboric solution, there's some left. You want to keep that. You're going to need that. I'm putting it in a Ziploc bag, and then we're going to label it. All right, Connor, go ahead and stir. All right, so now we're 2 minutes. Kayla, why don't you get a picture of it? If we're lucky, we did it right, and the sewer slime is thickened up. It's ready to go. You can pick it up and start playing with it, Connor.
Oh, that feels so
What color is it?
It's like greenish yellowish.
How does it feel? Is it sticky?
No, it's like smooth.
Alright, so if you guys can see, there's still little white pieces of the guar gum. So I don't think that we actually got it to the official slime that it's supposed to be. Because I think it's supposed to be a little bit stretchy, and it doesn't really stretch as much. But Connor definitely had fun. So what exactly did you just make?
I just made sewer slime.
Well, scientists call it a polymer, which is Greek for many parts. A polymer is a big group of smaller parts called molecules, all hooked together like a chain of paper clips or bike chain. The guar gum you started with was also a polymer. Lots of things that you see around you are polymers, such as plastics, rubbers, and spider silk. Even wood is a combination of polymers with different properties. The guar gum is like a long paperclip chain. Alright, so the solution of guar gum and water is thick and syrupy, and they're all tied up together like a big plate of spaghetti. The sodium tetraborate is to take the individual chains of guar gum and hook them together. This is called cross-linking. You don't get a long chain, but you get a net of connected chains. The more sodium tetraborate you add, the more connected the chains are. Alright, activity 2 in Germs Away as part of the slime kit is a polymer demonstration. So Connor, tear partway down the page. Just pull. And stop. Does it tear straight or crooked?
Straight.
Alright, turn it sideways.
Like this?
That's fine. Hold and rip the page again.
Okay.
Just hold it upright.
Let's see.
Alright, does that rip straight?
No, I want
Not at all. So pull it to the side, because what happens? Most of the time you should get that clean straight tear that he showed us, but a jagged way for the other one. Why? Because it's made from a polymer called cellulose. When it's made, it's rolled out and pressed. That forces all the polymer chains to line up in the same direction. So if you tear it in the direction that all the polymers lined up, it rips easy. If you tear it across it, it doesn't rip as well. Activity 3 in the slime kit is called Wiggly Wonder. So we're going to use the plain white glue, the sodium tetraborate solution. Remember, I put it in the Ziploc bag. I should label it, you are right. Measuring cup, measuring spoons. We need cold water, the closable bag, and I numbered it number 3, Wiggly Wonder. Mixing bowl, we're going to use this because you guys can see it is clear in the scraper. So Connor, measure 1 tablespoon of glue into your tablespoon.
I went the wrong way.
Before you use your glue, you got to open it and take the little black thing out. Save that because you can put it back in the glue. Connor, 1 tablespoon of glue. Hopefully it comes out a lot faster than it did. Alright, so we found out that if you pour it, it's a lot easier than trying to squeeze it. So we poured it in. So Connor, use the craft stick to put it in your mixing bowl. This is 1 tablespoon of glue. Try to scrape as much of the glue as possible off the spoon and into the mixing bowl. While he does that, I'm going to put the little black thing back into the glue so I don't spill it. Alright, so add 1 tablespoon of water to the glue. I'll hold the tablespoon over it and I'll help you. Where's your mixing stick? Put it in and mix. Oh, don't put your mixing stick down. Go ahead, mix. Slowly. Alright, so Connor has stirred the glue and the water together pretty decent. Mixed it really well. So now we add 2 teaspoons of the sodium tetraborate solution into the glue. And you're supposed to keep stirring when it thickens.
Wait, 1 tablespoon equals 2 teaspoons.
2 teaspoons. So now we're just going to do the teaspoon line twice. We're going to... Alright, so there's a little bit of the sodium tetraborate solution left, not a ton.
Oh, wow, that's like... Keep mixing.
Right, mix. So you're supposed to keep stirring until it thickens. So this is called Wiggly Wonder. So what have you made this time? So once it thickens, oh, there it is, so it's kind of making a ball.
Can I play with it?
Stir it a little bit more, because it still looks pretty liquidy. Can you bring it off the mix, the craft stick? Alright, go ahead. Hold on. So what's it feel like, Connor?
It feels like glue. Like it's not sticky. It's like.
Can you roll it into a ball and hold it in your hand? Does it keep its shape?
I can't. Okay.
Can you go from hand to hand? Okay, so I think you probably should have mixed it a bit more because there's a lot of water coming out. Does it feel like a water balloon?
Yeah, kind of. Like
can you stretch it? Keep it over the table, please.
Okay, let's see.
Not really, so it breaks apart. So the sodium tetraborate plays the same part here that it did in the first slime. So it cross-links the long chain polymers. Remember the picture? Turning something that was already pretty liquid into something much thicker. The slightest motion sends the whole thing wiggling, which is why it Wiggly Wonder. It still isn't solid though, so leave it alone for a few minutes. It will flow and puddle, so put it back in there, and we'll give it a few minutes.
Can I go wash my...
Activity 4, glues, G-L-O-O-Z-E. The previous slime used as a type of glue is an ingredient. This slime is a type of glue. In fact, it's related to cottage cheese, as you will see. So what you'll need from your kit is your filter. If I can get it open. I'm supposed to be able to open a little bit more. Maybe. There we go. Measuring cups and measuring spoons. Alright, so the skim milk that Connor has. So I have 7 tablespoons of skim milk. It has to be skim. It cannot be whole. It can't be anything else. It has to be skim. Baking soda, the closable bag, vinegar, the mixing bowls, stir, which I forgot, here it is, and a glass cup. So, for the milk, we've had this sitting out for at least half an hour. It needs to come to room temperature. So I can't tell. It doesn't feel hot, doesn't feel cold. So that means it's room temperature. And so Connor, warm 7 tablespoons of skim milk to room temperature, which we did. And hopefully this will work for this. Pour all those 7 tablespoons into the mixing bowl, carefully. All right, and just remember, if you're doing these experiments one after one another, you need to clean your equipment. So Connor has cleaned his measuring spoon.
About like 7 times.
So Connor, you need 1 tablespoon of vinegar. Is that all you put in here earlier? Is that all we put in there? All right, so that you can pour in there while stirring. So you can stir and I'll stir. Kylie, you need to get closer.
I thought you just said I will stir.
I'll stir, you pour, go. Keep stirring for several minutes and then let the mixture stand for several more minutes and watch what happens.
This may take 5 hours.
So Connor stirred this for 3 minutes. So this is kind of like what it looks like when we mix it up a little bit. You can see from the bottom, maybe kind of looking like little particles down there. So now it says you need to let it sit. So we're going to let it sit for 3 minutes and then we'll see what it looks like when we come back. All right, so we let it sit for 3 minutes. So hopefully you can see, I guess the background of Connor's arm maybe, that there's a lot of liquid right here, it's yellowy liquid, and down here looks like more of a solid. So we need to drain off this liquid and try not to get rid of any of these solids. So Connor, drain that into this cup, which we're going to throw away. Try to keep the solids. So once it seems like the solids are moving, stop doing it. And then we're going to let it sit for another 3 minutes. All right, that's good. Then we're going to let it sit for another 3 minutes and then do that again. All right, so now we're after our other 3 minutes. We don't have as much liquid this time. Connor, can you see if you can drain off any more of that extra liquid? Try not to get rid of any of the chunks. You're not going to be able to get too much of it out. Yeah, that's probably about as much as you get. So we're going to dispose of that. So now we still have, it's pretty liquidy. That's nothing like slime. It's pretty liquidy. So what you're going to have to do is filter it. All right, so you're placing the filter over a jar. You're going to carefully pour that in there. It should all fit. Kylie, can you get that?
I need one of those. I need a stick. Oh my gosh.
So we're going to let this drain. So the end result is we're hoping that all the cottage cheese type stuff stays up in the filter. And then the liquid, I don't know if you can see it on our video, the liquid's down below. So it's going to take us a few minutes. Might be 3, might be 5, might be 10. We'll have to wait and see.
Maybe 5 years.
So I kind of put it together and I squeezed it to make sure we got everything out. I'll be honest, I lost track of time. It seemed to take forever. All right. So now we're going to put the cottage cheese into a clean thing, Connor. All right. This can all get thrown away. Do they look like lumps of cottage cheese? For those of you that know what cottage cheese looks like, you have to tilt it to the camera. There you go. All right. So now we're going to add all right, so now it says add 1 small scoop of baking soda. So I'm going to guess this is a small scoop. This is direction number 6. Personally, it's a little confusing, so I'm hoping this turns out right. Remember, go sideways a little bit, make it nice and even. All right, we're going to use a Ziploc bag to straighten it out. So if you notice, it's pretty flat. There's nothing up here on the measuring stick, so kind of add that into with your cottage cheese looking stuff. 1 small scoop of baking soda, 1 teaspoon. So we need a teaspoon of water in there. And Kylie, you're probably going to want to get up close here in a minute because it says don't be alarmed if small bubbles start to appear. So you need 1 teaspoon of water and 1 of these with water. All right, so start mixing, buds. Again, this is supposed to turn out to be some sort of glue. So what happened? Well, if you take it step by step, you have warmed milk that you mix with vinegar. Vinegar is mildly acidic. So acid causes part of the milk to separate out as a solid, and that is a natural polymer called casein. So casein was the cottage cheese looking stuff. All right, that's used in glue and paint and a paper cloth. But casein is only a teeny tiny part of milk, which is why you had to work so hard to get just even that small amount of casein. Your next few steps were all aimed at drawing off everything but the casein. So now we added baking soda. It's the opposite of acidic. It's a base. So baking soda balances out the remaining bit of vinegar. The casein of the cottage cheese can mix with the bit of water you add at the end to make the glues. Where do the bubbles come from? Baking soda and vinegar produces carbon dioxide gas, the same gas used to put bubbles in soda pop. All right, if you do certain parts of vinegar and baking soda, that's how you make your volcanoes go. You'd have to look that one up. Ask your parents for permission if you do that. So, how does the glues look, Connor, when you pull it up? Is it kind of sticky? Wow, it looks pretty foamy.
I'm going to touch it. Don't. It like feels kind of like I can feel the stickiness, but it's like also like kind of a little bit.
All right, put some on there. Let's see if it actually is like a glue. You can use this. Use this like a paintbrush. Use it like a paintbrush. All right, that's enough. Yeah.
Gotta let it dry.
I don't know. Maybe you do have to let it dry. So, be sure you get permission before you glue anything together. Try a variety of different things. That's what scientists do. Is your experiment. Again, have your parental supervision. Don't glue anything you're not supposed to, and have fun with science. All right, flip, flop, slime, number 5. All right, so now we're going to need warm water, the cornstarch, the closable bag, mixing bowl, and my stirrer. All right, so Connor, we need to get half cup of cornstarch into the bowl. So this measuring cup that they send, it'll do your solid or your cornstarch on one side, and then the liquid water that we're going to need in a minute or two. So actually, we're going to do it a little bit backwards. We're going to put the liquid in first. Can I have the cornstarch for a second so we don't drop it? All right, so we need 50 mLs of warm water. So 50 mLs is that line right there. So you want to make sure you put it on a flat surface. Wait, stop for a second. You got to get down at eye level. No, you need to be straight looking at it eye level. All right, because if you're not doing it at eye level, then you may get the wrong amount. Slow, 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 a little more. Ah, perfect. Good job.
Yeah, I'm a human.
All right, so pour that in there. I know, the directions tell you to do it the other way. But we're going to see how this works.
Let's see if you actually did have to.
We had to dry it out because now we're about to put cornstarch in there. What did I say? Half a cup. Where's your half a cup?
Right there. On 150. What?
Right, so, right there?
Mm-hmm. Actually, wait. A little over, that's half a cup.
So it has a 4 on the left and a 1/2 on the right.
Wait.
Well, I hope it fits in our mixing bowl. May not fix in our mixing bowl.
Oh.
Alright, so pour the water into this now and use your mixing stick because I don't think our mixing bowl is going to... Get your stick, get your stick, get your stick, come on. You got to mix while you're pouring, silly. Stir until the slime is smooth. It may become hard to mix, but keep going. You got to get it all out of those corners.
You're right.
So what did we find out right now, Connor?
We found out that we need a teensy bit more cornstarch.
All right. So Connor says he's done this experiment in school, and it's still pretty liquidy. So we're just going to add a little bit more cornstarch. Go ahead, Connor. See if that works. And that's what it is with experiments. We must not have had it at exactly the 50 or the half a cup or the 50 milliliters of water. Tiny bit more still?
Yeah, it's kind of getting there, but like, no. Okay, yep.
Alright, so we definitely didn't measure right. We had to add a lot more cornstarch, but now it's doing what it's supposed to. So Connor, what happens when you stick your finger in it fast?
I just can't do it even with the popsicle. Even with the popsicle stick.
Give me this.
You just.
And what do you do when you? Okay, go ahead.
If you pour it into his hands, it might work better.
All right. What about if you go slow? Can you put your finger in if you go slow?
But then if I try to pull up fast,
I don't know if I can you grab a little bit with your fingers?
If I do it fast.
All right. So look how it's liquidy.
Dude.
But if you go slow.
Wait. You go, and then you go, ooh.
All right, so it's still not exactly right. So it's supposed to be like a colloid. So a colloid is kind of a solid and a liquid. So you can pour it, but it's also kind of hard. You know, it's not as hard as we would like it to be, but it is still a little bit hard, so we didn't do it as well. Do not wash your hands off in the sink. All right? When you go to clean up from this, like Connor, show me your hands. You need to wipe as much off with a paper towel and then just wash a little teeny tiny bit off in the sink. All right, if you pour this down the sink, it will clog your drains and they won't be able to get it off.
How is it off?
All right, activity 6 is power putty. Scientists often experiment with the recipes for things they make. Small changes can affect the final product quite a bit. So, we're going to make a very small change to Wiggly Wonder, one of the slimes we've already made. So, we need white glue, liquid starch, measuring cup and spoons, cold water. Where did my bag go? The closable bag. Mixing bowls and stir. So Connor, measure 1 tablespoon of white glue into the mixing bowl. And again, try to scrape off as much as possible. Remember we learned last time, 1 tablespoon of glue. Uh-oh, can I get it out? Yep. 1 tablespoon of glue is you are pouring it. Careful. Now this one takes a bit of time. You have to let it sit for a few minutes, come back, maybe add more. So this is you being scientists while you're kind of tweaking the recipe a little bit. You get your tablespoon of glue? All right, so kind of may have a bit more than a tablespoon there. Go ahead and pour it in. Use your stick to get it all off.
This is so much glue. I'm gonna make so
It's a lot of glue.
I like glue.
So we already know at the beginning that we're probably definitely going to have to tweak our mixture a little bit.
Yeah.
So now it says 2 tablespoons of water. Let me double check. Tablespoons. Hold it over this for a second. So can you move your right hand? I'm staring at the stick. I don't want glue in my eye. Don't get it on your shirt. Up, straight. Thank you. All right, 1. Taking forever here. 2. All right, stir well. While he's stirring that, I'm going to see what I need to do to open my liquid starch, which I haven't opened yet. So I'll have a parent open this for you.
Funny you.
My parent, that'll work. All right. All right, so Connor's been mixing probably for at least 3 or 4 minutes. So Connor, we need to add in 1 teaspoon of liquid starch. Stir it well. Feel it. If you cannot feel its power, you can add another teaspoon of liquid starch into the mixture.
And
keep stirring until it becomes powerful. Stir it for several minutes. So we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of liquid starch. Connor's going to stir it, and then we'll come back to you in a few minutes. Let me double check. 1 teaspoon.
Good.
Here, get it out with a spoon. No. Use this to try to get all of it out, like you're using like a rubber spatula type thing.
I think it's making it worse, to be honest with you.
Well, it's probably making a little bit of slime because the glue and the water from your stick
Yeah, it is making it worse.
is like the starch. All right, do what you can and then mix it. Alright, so Connor's been stirring it for a while. What does it look like, Connor? You can take it out.
It looks...
We've
It's
also let it
like-
stand for a few minutes.
Oh my, it's like sticky kind of.
Alright, so the powder slime is forming. You can play with it on your hand. Probably not on this. Kylie said it's stuck. So you can have it stick try the table. So the Power Putty we're comparing to the Wiggly Wonder. Do you remember that one? Where'd our Wiggly Wonder go? So this is our Wiggly Wonder. Alright, remember this one didn't really work too well. But it looks like Connor's slime is working really well. It's coming off the table. He can play with it.
It's even
If you need to get it off your fingers, you can have a little bit of dots and you can connect it. So to me, this is what like slime is when you guys normally make it.
Oh my
and
god,
what I'm
it's
always
so,
thinking about with slime.
it's so cool because when you roll it up into a little ball like this and then you let it sit.
Alright, so we've reached the end of all of our experiments. You have a variety of things left. So on the back of your booklet that you have, it gives you some ideas and maybe what you want to do. You can make your own slimes.